Be muted at this point. Go ahead and start to settle into your mats. You know, I always like to get us started lying down in a comfortable position. So if you're not there already, feel free to start to transition down onto your mat. Finding a place that feels comfortable for you. If you've done this a million times before, you probably have a good idea of where you like to start your practice. If you don't have a good idea, then I always like to suggest playing around a little bit. So maybe try out lying on your back. If that doesn't feel good, turn over onto your side. If it feels good to bend or straighten your legs, whatever is speaking to you this afternoon, let that be where you start your practice. So once you find that shape that feels really good in your body, go ahead and close the eyes if you haven't already. Just start to settle in. Start to let the breath naturally deepen. So as we slow down, as we come into stillness, the body just naturally starts to breathe a little deeper. We realize, oh, maybe I was breathing really short and shallow. Maybe I was feeling a little anxious. You don't even notice it until you stop. So let yourself feel that feeling of stopping, of pausing, and just breathing. I always like to suggest counting the breath, maybe counting to 3, 4, 5, whatever feels good for you each time you inhale. And then that same count as you exhale. That allows you to keep the breaths even. And then it also allows you to deepen that breath. Feeling the rise and the fall of the stomach, the chest, like a wave. And as you settle into this stillness, take a moment now to set an intention for your practice. What is it that you need this evening? What are you going to focus on? Maybe that's balance. We just talked about balance, so maybe finding balance on your mat, finding your breath, finding patience, peace. And it's amazing how a lot of the intentions that we set off of or on our mats can also be relevant off your mat. So see what it is that you're working on here tonight, whether it's balance or patience or peace, and then see how you can apply that into the rest of your life as well when you leave here and get off your mats. So once you have that intention set, take one more nice deep breath in, maybe a big sigh out the mouth, making it really audible. And then on the next breath, we'll find a big full body stretch. So go ahead and start to reach the arms overhead, straighten the legs. If you weren't on your back already, you can make your way onto your back now. And just kind of move the body in whatever way feels good. That could be rolling out the ankles, the wrists, maybe a little side to side stretch. And then on the next breath, we'll draw the right knee in towards us, wrapping your arms around that right shin. Give it a nice little hug. So you're creating a little compression on the right side of the body. Nice little massage. Go ahead and move that right knee however it feels good. Maybe side to side, maybe circular. Then we're going to bend the left knee. Place the left foot on the mat. Start to extend the right leg all the way up towards the sky. Your hands can come behind the thigh or behind the shin as you start to draw that right leg towards you, massaging the back of the leg or maybe even bending and straightening the leg, starting to warm up that right foot or the right leg. And then taking that right foot, go ahead and place it on the left knee. We're going to bring our arms out into a T shape. So extend your arms to either side of you, and then just start to let your hips rock from side to side so that you're bringing that right knee towards the mat and then the right foot towards the mat, and just kind of go back and forth there a couple times, getting a nice little twist in the spine. If it feels really good on one side or the other, maybe you pause there and just take a couple breaths, enjoying that twist. The next time you come back through center, pause here, and then lift that left leg up off the mat, interlacing the hands behind the left thigh. Draw the left leg towards you. Both feet are flexed here. You're creating a little stretch in that right hip. So same stretch as we do when we do our pigeon on our stomachs towards the end of class. You're creating that same hip opening movement or position. And then from here, we're slowly going to place that right foot back down on the mat. Continue to hug the left knee in towards you. Wrapping your arms around the left shin. You can make those circles or that side to side movement, whatever feels best for you. And then that right foot is going to bend, or the right knee bends, the right foot comes to the mat. Left leg extends up towards the sky. Go ahead and massage the back of the left leg as you start to draw that left foot closer to you. Maybe even lifting your head up off the mat, sort of walking your hands up the leg. And then that left foot is going to come to the right knee, flexing through both feet. Hands come out to either side of you, finding that T shape one more time. And then rocking the hips from side to side. So left knee comes towards the mat, and then left foot comes towards the mat. My back always cracks a little bit here, so see if you can get a nice little spinal stretch. The next time you come back through center, that right leg can lift up off the mat, hands come behind the right thigh, flexing through the feet as you start to draw the right leg towards you. You can even take a hand to the left knee and gently press it away from you. And then slowly releasing that left knee, hug both knees in towards the body. Your hands can come behind your thighs as you tuck your chin into your chest. Go ahead and start to rock along the spine, all the way up to a seated position. So once you arrive in your seated position, cross your legs or find a comfortable seat, maybe on a pillow or a blanket. Kind of move from side to side a little bit as you settle yourself in, relax the shoulders. And let's take one more or two more really nice deep breaths. So close the eyes, start to breathe in through the nose, counting that 4-part breath or that 4-count breath, feeling the breath draw down through the lungs, all the way to the bottom of the lungs, expanding the stomach as you inhale. And then that 4-count exhale, letting that breath go. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale into the nose. And then slowly letting that breath go. Good. You can open your eyes once you finish that second breath and just start to roll out the shoulders a little bit. So as you inhale, lift those shoulders up, release them down the back. Go ahead and take a couple rounds. And then rolling them in the opposite direction. And releasing the shoulders, start to roll the head all the way around, taking a couple neck rolls in a way that feels good for you. So that could mean side to side, that could mean circles, that could mean more of using your hands to kind of massage the neck. The idea is that you're stretching it and helping it feel more relaxed, more loose, a little less tense. So whatever allows you to get there, go ahead and do that. And then slowly coming back through center, lifting the head back up. Let's find a wide-legged seated position. So extending the legs really wide, flexing through the feet. Sit up nice and tall. You kind of rock side to settle yourself in here. Interlace your hands, and then we're going to make those giant circles with the upper body. I always describe this like stirring a pot. That's kind of the best analogy I can think of. But think of really making giant sweeping movements with the hands so that the upper body kind of moves a little bit. Taking a couple circles in one direction and going back in the opposite direction. And then the next time you come back through center, let's lift all the way up, reach the arms overhead, relax the shoulders. We're going to bring the left hand to the left shin, start to reach the right fingertips, kind of like you're trying to reach them over the left toes. So you're leaning to the left side, stretching through the whole right side of the body. See if you can look up under that right arm, lengthening. On the next inhale, we'll lift it all the way back up and take it over to the other side. So the right hand comes to the right shin, left fingertips reach like they're trying to reach over the right toes. That left shoulder comes towards the ear. Roll that shoulder open a little bit more as you look up. And then on the next inhale, lift it all the way back up. Arms come overhead as you exhale. Release the hands forward, starting to walk the hands away from the body. So folding forward here as much as it feels comfortable. This is a deep stretch, so be gentle with yourself. Maybe rock side to side a little bit if movement helps you come a little deeper. And then utilizing that breath. So each time you inhale, think about creating that space in the back of the body. And then each time you exhale, fold a little bit further forward. And then slowly starting to walk your hands back towards you as you lift the upper body up. You can take your hands, kind of press the legs back together, tap the backs of the legs on the mat a little bit, shake them out. And then let's find a butterfly, bringing the soles of your feet together. Interlace your hands under your toes. Take a deep breath in as you lengthen through the spine. Exhale as you fold forward, pressing the elbows into the shins. Think about really nice flat back. And then the chest is releasing down towards the toes. And then slowly starting to lift it back up. Take your hands, press your knees together. So our feet are on the mat, our knees are together. We're gonna do a little core exercise of boat pose. So you're gonna sit up nice and tall. Your spine is really straight. You're gonna extend your arms long in front of you. And then slowly, almost like a seesaw, start to lean the back as you lift the legs up. So the spine is still straight. You can either stay right here. Your hands can come to the backs of the thighs and support your legs if that feels comfortable. Or if you really want to challenge yourself, see if you can straighten the legs a little more. Wherever you are, that back is straight. We're going to hold it for 5 more breaths, even though you've been holding it. So 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, go ahead and bring your feet back down. Give yourself a little hug. So kind of fold over yourself, bringing the stomach towards the thighs, your head towards your knees, just stretching out the back of the body. And then we're going to make our way into a tabletop position. So start to turn over onto your hands and knees. The wrists are below the shoulders, the knees are below the hips. The back starts off really nice and flat. And then when you're ready, go ahead and move through that cat and cow flow. So the inhale releases the stomach down, the gaze comes up. The exhale rounds the back, presses the ground away from you. Continue to move here with your breath. At a speed that feels good for you and in a cadence that feels good for you. So that could be adding on a little bit, a little rock from side to side, a little shake your head or roll the shoulders. And then slowly starting to make your way back through center. Nice flat back as you extend the right leg behind you, toes stay on the mat first. Start to press yourself forwards and backwards, stretching out the bottom of that foot, the back of that leg. And then coming to stillness, lift the right foot up off the mat. So point the right toes behind you. Find your balance here. So kind of engage your core, draw your belly button up towards your spine. And then when you're ready, the left arm is going to lift. So opposite arm, opposite leg. On the next inhale, draw the knee and the elbow together, round the back. Exhale, extend it long. We'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, draw everything together. Exhale, extend it long. One last time, knee, elbow, nose, all come together. Exhale, extend it long. And then you can go ahead and bring your hand and your knee back to the mat, kind of rock the hips from side to side a little bit. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So that left leg extends, tuck the toes, start to press yourself forwards and backwards using the toes. So you're pressing the heel back, and then you're kind of propelling yourself forward on that foot, that left toes. And then as you come back through stillness, the left leg lifts, point the toes towards the back of the room. So kind of like your leg is parallel to the ground. And then the right arm is gonna lift. So again, opposite arm, opposite leg. As you inhale, left knee, right elbow, and your nose all come together. Exhale, extend it long. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, draw it all together. Exhale, extend long. And 1 more time, give that knee a kiss. Exhale, extend it long. And go ahead and bring your hand, your knee back to the mat, shake it out a little bit. And then we're gonna make our way into our first downward facing dog. So when you're ready, you can tuck your toes, straighten your legs, start to send the hips up and back. And just kind of move here a little bit, get familiar with the pose. Find comfort in the movement as you settle in. And then on the next inhale, we're gonna roll it out into a plank position, drawing the shoulders over the wrists, tucking your tailbone under. And then we're gonna exhale back to our downward facing dog. So noticing how that feels to flow between the two, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, roll the back out into your plank. Exhale back to downward facing dog. And 1 last time, inhale like a wave, find your plank. And then exhale, send it back to downward facing dog. This time, take your gaze towards your hands. We're gonna start to walk the feet to the top of the mat, finding a forward fold. Your feet can be about hips width distance apart, maybe a little bend in your knees as you move, however it feels comfortable. So maybe that's holding onto opposite elbows and sort of rocking from side to side like a rag doll. Maybe that's bringing your hands behind the head and sort of drawing the head down. Maybe your hands are behind your legs. And then slowly with control, we're gonna start to peel all the way up 1 vertebrae at a time until you come to a standing position, reach the arms overhead, maybe a little back bend if that feels comfortable. And then go ahead and interlace your hands, press the palms up towards the sky, so you're pressing the hands away from you. Bring the feet together as you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, take it over to the left side, stretching through the whole right side of the body, looking up under that right arm. And then on the next inhale, lift it back up through center. Exhale over to the right side, stretching through the left side of the body. And then on the next inhale, lift it back up through center. As you exhale, dive it back down to your forward fold. Inhale halfway, so we're bringing our hands to our shins. Take that breath in, flat back. As you exhale, hands come to the mat, step it back to your downward facing dog. So we're coming back to our feet at the back of the mat, find your downward facing dog. On the next breath, the right leg is gonna lift, point the toes towards the back of the room. Then we're gonna bend the right knee and start to make circles with that right hip. So it might feel a little awkward, a little funky, but just move that hip however you can. Try to circle it a couple times in one direction, and then a couple times in the other direction. And then we're gonna pause here, start to draw the right knee forward. You're gonna step the right foot in between your hands. If you need to come down onto your knees to get there, that's fine, because we're actually all gonna come down onto our knees. So go ahead and bring that left knee down. That right foot is in between your hands. As you inhale, press those hips down, lift up through the upper body. As you exhale, straighten the right leg and start to fold over that right leg. And we're gonna flow here a couple times. So inhaling brings you forward, pressing the hips down, lifting the gaze up. Exhale, sends the hips back, straightens the right leg. I always suggest blocks here. If you don't have blocks, books, pillows, pets, anything that you can rest your hands on can help bring the ground a little closer to you. Take a couple more rounds, flowing forwards and backwards. And then slowly coming back forward. So the next time your hips are pressing forward, let's come into our Anjaneyasana, bringing your hands to your knees, press the hips down, start to lift the upper body up. You can go ahead and reach your arms overhead. if that feels comfortable. If you liked them on the knees, that's fine as well. Either way, think about opening the front of the body, relaxing the shoulders, taking the gaze forwards or maybe up towards your hands. And then slowly bringing your hands back to frame out that front foot. We're gonna tuck the left toes, straighten that left leg so we're in a low lunge. And then the left foot is gonna step up halfway, coming into a pyramid pose. So that left foot is in the center of your mat. We're folding over that right leg. Take a breath in, create a little space in the back of the body. As you exhale, fold a little deeper over that right leg, bending that right knee as much as you need. So that right leg doesn't need to be straight. You can continue to bring your hands to those blocks or books here. And then we're gonna turn this into a little bit of a balance. So we're gonna come into a supported warrior 3 from here. So for your warrior 3, you're gonna start to put the weight in that front foot. You're gonna play around with lifting the left foot up off the mat. So maybe that left foot comes parallel to the ground. Maybe you just lift it up an inch or two and see how that feels. Doesn't matter, give it a try, lifting up that left leg. Your hands can stay down on the mat or on those blocks to support you. If you want to add on even more, you would start to bring your hands to heart center and coming unsupported. So see what feels like enough of a challenge. You want a challenge, but not too much of a challenge that you're toppling over. From here, we're all gonna bring that left foot back down to meet the right. Find a forward fold. You can kind of shake it out a little bit, rock from side to side. And then on the next inhale, slowly lifting all the way back up, reach the arms overhead, maybe a little back bend. And then as you exhale, let's fold it forward one more time. I'm gonna take that halfway lift again. So take a breath in, bring your hands to your shins, nice flat back. As you exhale, your hands come to the mat, go ahead and walk back to your downward facing dog. So we're gonna do that same little sequence on the other side. So this time you know where you're going. On the next breath in, the left leg is gonna lift. Point the toes up towards the sky or towards the back of the room. Bend that left knee. And we're gonna start to make those circles with the left hip. So the idea is that we're warming up that hip a little bit in all directions. So that whole hip socket is kind of engaging here. And then pausing as you start to draw the left knee forward, stepping that left foot in between your hands, and then that right knee comes down. Again, if stepping it forward is challenging, bring the knees down first, and then kind of use your hands to get that left foot forward. So take a breath in, start to lift up through the chest, hands are framing out that left foot. As you exhale, straighten the left leg, pressing the hips back, folding forward. And then go ahead and take a couple more rounds just like that. As you inhale, press the hips down, lift the upper body. As you exhale, fold over that left leg. Moving with your breath, moving in a way that feels good for you. Pausing if you need to kind of massage the leg or take a couple breaths without movement. And then the next time you come forward, let's find our Anjaneyasana. So pressing the hips down, start to lift up through the upper body. Then your hands can come to your knees, start to lift it up even further. If you like, the hands can reach all the way overhead, relaxing the shoulders. Take your gaze towards your hands. And then slowly starting to bring your hands back to frame out that left foot. We're gonna tuck the right toes, straighten that right leg so you're in a low lunge. And then that right foot is gonna step up halfway. So right foot is in the center of your mat. We're coming back to our pyramid pose. Bring your hands to those books or those blocks if that helps. Take a breath in, lengthen the back of the body. And then as you exhale, fold over that left leg. Think about keeping your hips in a line. So that left hip is gonna wanna come in front of the right hip. Work on pressing the left hip back and drawing the right hip forward so the hips are square. Again, bending that knee as much as you need here. And then let's start to come into our supported warrior 3. So the weight is going to come into the left foot. You're going to slowly start to play around with lifting that right foot up off the mat. And again, that could just mean kind of lifting the toes up a little bit if that feels like enough of a balance. If you're up for it, that leg can lift up a little higher, flex through the bottom of the right foot wherever it is. So you're engaging that foot. Maybe the hands come to heart center. Maybe just one hand lifts up. See how that feels. And then go ahead and bring the right foot down to meet the left. Shake it out a little bit, forward fold. Rock it out like a rag doll. And then on the next inhale, let's slowly start to lift it all the way up, reach the arms up overhead, back bend. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. So we're going to move through a couple of rounds of a sun salutation. Ironically, I was already thinking of doing this, and then Shannon mentioned that you guys were doing it with Megan. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple really nice and slow together. So follow along with me. So on the next inhale, we're going to reach our arms overhead. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward. On the next inhale, your hands are going to come to your shins, flat back, just like we did before. As you exhale, bring the hands back to the mat and step it back to your downward facing dog. So a lot like we've already done. On the next inhale, we're going to roll back into that plank position. Then we're going to bring our knees down onto the mat and then slowly lower yourself all the way down. So you're on your stomach, your hands are under your shoulders. On the next inhale, we're going to lift up to a baby cobra. So just enough that you can wiggle your fingers still. Press the shoulder blades together. And then slowly lowering yourself down, bring your hands to the mat. We're going to find our way back to our downward facing dog. So you can go ahead and press the hips up and back, tuck the toes, straighten the legs as you make your way back to your downward facing dog. Take your gaze to the top of the mat, walking your feet back to meet your hands to a forward fold. Halfway lift for space. Exhale, fold a little deeper. That's why we do that little halfway lift. Then on the next inhale, lift it all the way back up. Reach the arms overhead. Exhale, hands to the sides of the body. Good. So we're going to do that whole sequence one more time. On the next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, dive it forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifts up halfway. Your hands come to your shins, a nice flat back. As you exhale, step it back to your downward facing dog. From here, roll it out into your plank position. Shoulders come over the wrists. Tuck your tailbone under. We're going to lower down onto our knees and then all the way down. So nice and slow to get a nice little arm strengthening stretch. And then on the inhale, cobra pose by pressing your hands into the mat. If you liked that baby cobra, then stay down there, lifting the fingertips up and just lift a little bit. If it feels okay on your back, you can lift up a little higher. See what feels comfortable for you. And then slowly lowering yourself all the way back down. We're going to make our way back into our downward facing dog. So as you press your hands into the mat, go ahead and straighten the legs, tuck the toes, find your downward facing dog. Take your gaze towards your hands, step back up to the top of the mat. Find that halfway lift for space, lengthen through the back of the body. Exhale as you fold. And then on the next inhale, lift it all the way up. This is called Urdhva Hastasana in Sanskrit. And then exhale, hands to the sides of your body. Good. Okay, shake it off a little bit. Roll out the shoulders, maybe grab a sip of water if you need. And then let's come into a tree pose. Let's do a little more balancing. We've already done some. So find a nice firm foundation with that left foot. You're going to start to bring the right foot to the left inner ankle. So just the right toes are on the mat. Your hands can come to heart center. If this feels like a good balance, stay right here. If you want to come in a little deeper, you're going to bring that right foot either to your inner shin or your inner thigh. You can use the right hand to kind of guide that right foot where you want it. And then choosing whatever option feels comfortable with your hands or feels fun with your hands. They can stay at heart center, they can open wide, you can keep that prayer overhead, all different options for your tree pose. You can wobble a lot, like a tree in a storm, like we're having outside today. You can also have the left side of your body up against a wall or near a wall. See if you can hold this for 3 more breaths. If you're touching the foot down and coming back up 100 times, that is okay. Keep challenging yourself, keep trying again. And then slowly with control, we'll all start to bring our hands to heart center and go ahead and lower that right foot down onto the mat. Shake out the standing leg a little bit, let it go. And then we'll take it over onto the other side. So find a nice firm foundation with the right foot. When you're ready, that left foot's gonna come right to the right inner ankle. The left toes are on the mat. Your hands can come to heart center. If this feels good, you're gonna stay right here. If you have any add-ons that you'd like, go ahead and start to make your way into them now by lifting that left leg up a little higher or playing around with the position of your hands. So you decide what your tree is gonna look like today. Take about 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly with control, the hands can start to come back to heart center. That left leg can come back down onto the mat. And again, shake it all out. Roll the shoulders out a little bit. Shake out the standing leg. And we're going to make our way back to the tops of our mats. If you had wandered away from the top of your mat, come back to the top of your mat. We're going to come into a warrior 2 on the right side. So the left foot is going to step all the way to the back of your mat. That left foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Your right toes are facing forward. Take a breath in as you lift the arms up. As you exhale, bend into that right knee, relax the shoulders. Take a moment to check your alignment so that right thigh is working on being parallel to the ground. The arms are parallel to the ground. Your chin is parallel. Go ahead and lift your gaze if you were looking down. Lift up the head a little bit. Take your gaze right to that front middle finger. And then we're going to come into a peaceful warrior. So you're going to flip your right palm so that it's facing up. Reach your right fingertips forward, creating a little space. And then reach that right arm up overhead. The left hand comes behind you to that left thigh as you reach the right fingertips behind you. So continue to bend into that right knee, getting a nice big stretch through the whole right side of the body. The next inhale, slowly coming back through center, finding your warrior 2 again. And then we're going to straighten the right leg. Again, reach the right fingertips forward. So you're kind of shifting the whole upper body forward. And then lower down into your triangle, Trikonasana, by bringing the right hand down, lifting the left arm up. Your right hand can rest on your shin, on the mat, on a block, wherever it feels accessible and comfortable. But wherever that right hand is, keep it really light. So like if my right hand is hanging and I'm not changing my position at all, because your core is really what's holding you here. So that right hand is really gently resting. The left fingertips are working their way all the way up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, slowly engaging the core as you lift yourself back up. Turn the right toes to face the same direction as the left. Reach your arms overhead as you inhale. As you exhale, fold it forward, big wide-legged forward folds, and then move however it feels good. So side to side movement, bending one knee and then the other, walking your hands to one leg and the other. Or maybe it means just being still. Maybe you kind of hold on to opposite elbows like a rag doll and just work on kind of breathing and releasing into the back of the body. And then slowly bringing your hands to your thighs, pressing yourself all the way back up. We're going to do that same thing to the back of the mat now. So on the left side, you're going to turn your left toes to face the back of your mat. That right foot is parallel to the front of your mat. Inhale as you lift your arms up. We're going to make our way back into our warrior 2. As you exhale, bend into that left knee. Maybe you need to widen your stance a little bit. Go ahead and do that so that you have the room. A lot of times our feet are closer together than they need to be, and it actually makes it more challenging. Relax the shoulders, take your gaze towards the left fingertips. And then we're gonna flip the left hands, the left palm is facing the ceiling. Reach the left fingertips forward and then up and overhead. So the right hand comes to the right thigh, left arm is reaching behind you, continuing to bend into that left knee. So sometimes we forget about that left leg and we start to straighten it. Keep bending into the left leg. On the next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior two. The lower body stays where it is, the arms re-extend. And now we're gonna straighten the left leg, reach the upper body forward, left fingertips reach forward, and then find your triangle, Trikonasana. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up. Think about creating one straight line from your left fingertips to your right fingertips. And that right arm is pulling up towards the sky, almost like there's a string pulling you up by your right hand. The next inhale, engage your core, slowly start to lift it all the way back up. Turn the left toes to face the side of your mat. One more time, we're gonna take a big wide-legged forward fold so you can reach your arms up. And then exhale, fold it forward. Again, moving however it feels good. So maybe walking your hands really far out in front of you, walking your hands really far behind you, rocking from side to side, or just staying still. And slowly starting to bring your hands to the thighs, gently pressing the upper body up. And then we're just gonna kind of heel toe your feet or walk your feet all the way together so that you're standing again. Shake it all out. Make your way back to the top of your mat. Take a breath in as you lift your arms up. As you exhale, dive it down, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, nice flat back, hands come to shins. Exhale, hands come to the mat, step the feet back to your downward facing dog. And then from here, we're gonna lower ourselves down onto our knees, coming back to a tabletop position. So the knees come down, hands are on the mat. We're going to lift the right leg, point the toes towards the back of the room. And then, just like we did earlier, the left arm is gonna lift. So left arm extends, right foot extends. This time, bend the right knees, point the right toes towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna start to reach the left arm back. You don't have to grab the right foot. Maybe you're just working on reaching the arm back. If you have the foot, take the top of the foot, start to press the foot away from you. Think about bending your back here. So this is a back bend. Think about lifting up through the chest as you press the right foot away from you. And then slowly letting that foot go, re-extend your arm and leg, and then gently place them both back down on the mat. You can shake your hips from side to side a little bit. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So the left leg lifts, point the toes towards the back of the room. When you're ready, with control, the right arm will start to lift. So finding your balance here first. Then when you're ready, the left knee bends, left toes point towards the ceiling. You can also stay right here. If this feels like enough of a balance, that's perfect. If you're gonna take that arm back, go ahead and start to reach the right hand behind you. Keep reaching. Maybe you eventually find the top of that left foot. If you have the foot, start to press the foot away from the body, thinking about lifting the chest, lifting the upper body, and bending through the spine. And slowly releasing it, extend your arm and leg long, and then placing them both back down on the mat. Shake your hips out from side to side a little bit, letting all of that go. We're gonna make our way into our pigeon pose. So I always like to give the option here. You can either come to pigeon from a down dog, or you can come to pigeon right here from your hands and knees. So if you're coming from your hands and knees, go ahead and start to make your way into the pigeon on the right side. If you'd rather come from downward facing dog, go ahead and straighten the legs, send those hips up and back, and then we're gonna lift the right leg. If you're on your knees, lift the right leg as well. And then start to draw that right knee behind the right wrist. So placing that right knee at the top of your mat. You're gonna start to press the top of the left foot into the mat. And then just sort of moving however you need to start to settle yourself in here. So you can rock the hips from side to side a little bit, flex through that right foot, kind of create some space in the upper body. And then slowly you'll start to walk the hands away from the body. Lowering the upper body down onto the mat. Finding something to rest your head on. So that could be any number of things, blocks, pillows, blankets, or even just your hands. You can stack your fists and rest your forehead on your fist. You can bend your elbows, resting your chin in your hands. We're gonna hold this for about 3 or 4 more breaths. Slowly starting to walk the hands back towards the body as you start to press the upper body up, tuck the left toes, and then make your way back to either that tabletop or that downward facing dog, whichever you started from. So go ahead and make your way back. And then we'll make our way into our pigeon on the left side. So that left leg is gonna lift, point the toes behind you, and then start to draw that left knee right behind the left wrist as you come down on the right foot. Flex through the left toes. If you feel like a lot of your weight is leaning to the left side, start to draw the left foot a little closer to the body so that you can readjust and have your weight even on both sides, pressing down a little more onto the right side. Go ahead and move a little bit as you take a breath into the front of the body. And then as you exhale, start to lower yourself all the way down. Same thing as before, find something to rest the head on, blocks, pillows, hands. So that you can kind of relax the shoulders, releasing some of that tension in the neck and the back. And see what you can let go of here. If it's something physical, maybe you're tensing your shoulders or your jaw or your forehead. See if you can relax those things. Or maybe it's something in your mind that you need to let go of, a thought that's not serving you. Let it go. Or work on letting it go. It's easier said than done to just let it go. But we can make the effort. And then slowly starting to walk the hands back towards the body as you press your upper body up. Final time, either in that tabletop or that downward facing dog, you're gonna step the left foot back to meet the right. We're all gonna meet in a seated position, so wherever you are, you can start to lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. Let's extend our legs long in front of us. So legs come together, flex through the bottoms of the feet. Kind of rock from side to side a little bit to settle yourself in here. And then on the next inhale, the arms lift up. As you exhale, fold forward. Paschimottanasana, or the seated forward fold. Your hands can come to your shins, your toes. Knees can be as bent as much as it feels comfortable. And just let the upper body kind of release over the lower half of your body. On the next inhale, slowly starting to lift all the way up. And then we're going to make our way onto our back. So extending your arms long, one vertebrae at a time. Start to lower yourself all the way back down onto the mat. Finding a full body stretch once you get there. So the arms reach overhead. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then bringing the hands to the sides of the body. Let's take one more back bend. So the feet are going to come to the base of the spine. Take a breath in. So your knees are bent, your feet are on the mat. Take a breath in, start to press the hips up. Hands can stay pressing into the mat, or you can start to interlace your hands under your tailbone. Kind of wiggle the shoulders under you if you have the hands interlaced. Continuing to press up through the hips, engaging the thighs and the knees so that your legs are active. They're kind of supporting you here. And we're going to hold this for about 3 more breaths. See if you can take a really deep breath in, expanding the chest and the stomach. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time, starting to lower yourself all the way back down onto the mat. Once your tailbone touches, let the knees rock from side to side, little windshield wiper action. And then we're going to make our way into our inversion. So if you like to do your legs up the wall, slide over towards a wall. Otherwise, just lift the feet up right into the air like there's a wall behind your legs, but there isn't. Your hands can come under your hips if you're in the middle of the room to kind of support the tailbone a little bit. Flex through the feet like you're trying to step your feet on the ceiling. And we're going to hold this for about 5 to 7 breaths. So go ahead and count those breaths, maybe even closing your eyes. Try to take really deep, full breaths. Letting the body start to slow down a little bit as we begin to make our way towards the end of our practice. Let things start to settle a little bit. And then slowly starting to draw the knees back in towards the body, wrapping your arms around your shins. Give yourself a nice little hug. Maybe even lifting your head up towards your knees and then placing the head back down on the mat. Just gonna rock from side to side or make circles with the knees. Feeling that nice spinal connection with the mat. Whole spine is pressing down into the mat. Let's find one more twist before we end our practice. So bringing your arms back out into that T shape. Let the knees release over to the right side. You can take your gaze to the left so that you're looking in the opposite direction of your knees. Your eyes can start to close here. As you let the shoulders relax down into the mat, that left shoulder presses down. And on the next inhale, slowly starting to draw the knees back through center and over to the left side. Let the knees release, just landing wherever they want, making it really comfortable, really casual, turning the head to the right. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can also keep the head facing the ceiling. Letting that breath slow down a little bit. And on the next inhale, slowly starting to draw the knees back through center one last time. And then just gently beginning to extend the legs long, placing one at a time down on the mat so that you're making your way into your Shavasana, taking a moment now to notice what else you might still need, whether it's water, sweaters, blankets, or maybe it's one last little stretch that you still need. So take a moment now, notice where you are compared to when you first came onto your mat. Notice what you still need, if anything. Go ahead and offer those final stretches or take that sip of water. And then begin to settle yourself into your Shavasana. So when you're ready, you'll start to close your eyes, maybe making some adjustments if the position you're in right now isn't the one that you want to end your practice in. Just like at the beginning, you can choose that shape. So maybe you turn over onto one side, maybe you even sit up for this. Whatever feels comfortable for you, for your physical body. And then let the mind start to relax. Starting to deepen the breath. Taking up as much space as you need. So extending your arms wide, extending your legs wide if that feels comfortable. Feeling fully supported by the earth. Kind of just letting go, surrendering, and knowing that you are being held by your mat and the earth beneath your mat. Feeling that safety. Just allowing yourself to just be here on your mat in Shavasana. Slowly beginning to deepen your breath. Beginning to move the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists. As you slowly wake the body up. Stretching in any way that feels good for you. Arms can reach overhead and the knees can bend. Taking these last few moments here on your mat to just thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for continuing to make the choice to do something that's so good for you. Each time you make the choice to come to your mat, you're doing something good for you. When you're ready, and slowly start to make your way back up to a seated position if you're not there already. gently pressing your hands into the mat to lift yourself up. And keep your eyes closed as you bring your hands to heart center. As always, I am so grateful for all of you for continuing to join me and bring your light and your energy virtually to all of us here, all over. Hope you have the most beautiful evening and a great week ahead until I see you again. Namaste. Thank you, guys.
Thank